All right.
And we're live.
Yes, we are.
Yo, you're recording too?
Yes, it'll have a copy on YouTube.
All right, so officially three, two, one. Hey, yo, welcome to La Ventanita. It's been quite a fucking while, guys. We miss you all very dearly, but as you know, things have been quite chaotic and hectic when it comes to being an Inter Miami supporter like Jay, Akeem, and I have been. And speaking of Jay, we got a very special guest on today's podcast. It's not only just me and Akeem here, but we also have Jay Kington from Inter Miami Podcast. What an honor to have him on. Welcome, Jay.
The OG.
The pioneer. The pioneer, dude.
Yeah.
What's up, boys? I appreciate you guys having me on, man. It's been too long. I know it seems like for years, every time we see each other, pregame, postgame, tailgating, whatever, we always say, we're gonna link up and do a joint episode, which we still need to get on the books. But saw the tweet last night, and it's like straight into the
You saw the
DMs,
bat
like,
signal. You saw the bat signal.
let me slide. Let me slide.
The Ventanita signal was out in the air, and yeah,
The
like
coffee,
you mentioned,
the coffee in the air.
this has been something that we've been talking about forever, yo. So I'm just so happy to like finally have it come through. And like we were mentioning over, guys, if you don't know Jay and Inter Miami Podcast, they are the trailblazers of Inter Miami Podcasts, and that's why they have the OG name. I always laughed at that, and I remember when you guys were working for the team in a way. Can you tell us a little bit more about that? Do you mind?
Yeah, so that was the first season. Director of communication was this dude Gene, and he was legit. He left to go to CONCACAF. I had this hat made, right, because at that point in time they were going through the lawsuit over could they call themselves Inter. They were fighting with Inter Milan, and so they basically ruled that it could be Inter Miami, but it can't be Inter by itself. So I made a hat and just pink across, just Inter. Like, whatever, we're going with it. Word to the game. This guy Gene just saw it. He's like, "Yo, Dope Hat." Started talking. We kind of just got involved. We're doing some pregame shows and halftime shows with them. And yeah, man, that was certainly a really really cool experience for sure.
Definitely, dude. And I thought that was just a really cool era overall where the team kind of seemed very grassroots. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I know you guys were around even before the team started. I was listening to you guys, I think, while I was still in Texas, like in 2018 ish. Correct me if I'm wrong. When did you guys start?
I think it was like August 2019 when we started. It was
All right.
right or like in line with
Oh,
the
Akeem, are you good?
Or the
Yeah.
signed the first players, which was Maddie and you guys good? It was
Yeah.
Maddie Pellegrini and Julian Carranza. And I just realized there was no way to there wasn't a centralized source of news. And I had to just do deep dives on the internet to find anything. So just reached out to my buddy Alex, who I was working with at the time, and we started this out just to give fans some sort of outlet to listen to learn about the team and how it goes. And for lack of creativity, just was like, whatever, we'll just call it the Inter Miami Podcast. That that kind of boxed out all the other names, and we roll with that. And then 3.5 years later, I guess that lack of creativity paid off because everyone wants to follow anything Inter Miami now.
Yeah, dude. And, when I first saw the name, I was like, damn, that's great. They were the first ones to it. They got to claim the most direct name, right? What better exposure than just the team's name, right? And like you said back then, maybe not so much, but with the team's ambitions, you guys definitely had a good vision to get in there first. And not only the vision, right, but just the dedication. One thing I've always noticed about Inter Miami Podcast that I've always been a big fan of and why I've been a listener from the very beginning is just you guys aren't like sitting in the press box either. You guys have your press boxes. You're down in the north stand, getting gritty, man. Like you guys are truly passionate about the game. You're truly passionate about Inter Miami, and that makes the whole experience so much more authentic, so much better. And yeah, man, I just from the bottom of my heart, thank you, Jay. And this is. I'm a little bit starstruck, my dude. I'm a little bit starstruck, to be honest.
No, we started this for the community, right? For La Familia, new, old fans of the sport, just trying to get, people involved. So yeah, I don't like being up in the press box. I love a lot of our press up there. I was a fan first, and wanted to get into podcasting. Everything just lined up perfectly, and I'm going to be in those stands with all the homies as much as I can, because that's the love I have for the team.
The real experience.
Yeah,
There's
exactly.
nowhere. no better seat in the house, man. You could sit on that field level and hug Messi after a goal or
Mhm.
whatever, dude. But all man, you could be in the VIP getting the free beers or whatever and just plastering your face with food. But there's something special about being in that North Stand, and that's something that's the reason why we started Ventanita, right? We wanted to give people kind of like a glimpse into the life of a supporter, or the opinions of supporters, and um, to me, there's no better place to be. So anytime I run into you over there, man, it's just such a great feeling knowing that you guys are soaking it all in the best place you could be. And speaking of that, this is going to be a little bit of a different podcast. I'll get into it in a second. I don't know if you guys noticed last game, there was a bunch of influencers like coming into the North Stand.
Mhm. Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
and
I've seen multiple YouTube videos about us in the North Stand. I've seen a bunch of influencers. Yeah, that's definitely gonna be how it's gonna be going forward when you're the hottest thing in town or
Inter Miami's
in the
so hot
country.
right now.
It's so hot
yeah,
right now.
It
man,
is, and my
it's
soul
the
yearns
hottest.
for beer to be thrown on it. So let's just have a great 2.5, 3.5 years.
Exactly.
Yeah, hottest ticket in the world right now. And
Yep.
anytime people are coming to the stadium, one of the first things they're noticing is that North Stand, is that experience that has been, talked about in MLS circles for now 3, 4 years. But kind of the world is kind of getting a peek as into Miami culture and seeing how our supporters groups have developed over the years. And I'm just so proud to see where we are nowadays and all of that. And proud to give you guys a perspective. And that's exactly what I want to get into is today's lineup is going to be a little different, guys. We obviously don't have an around the MLS. The MLS is, if you didn't know, MLS games are postponed, not postponed, but there will be no MLS or Liga MX games played until August 20th to
Mm-hmm.
allow this tournament to fully flourish, to allow teams to, fully put all their resources into this tournament, which is a beautiful thing. So definitely no standings to go over right now, but what we can tell you about and what we are going to tell you about is kind of a fan's insider's perspective, supporter's perspective as to how it's been with Messi the last 2 games, how it's going to be on this third game. After that, we could talk a little bit about the results, about where we stand. And then after that, there's kind of the hot news story. Jay, did you catch that one?
Ah, maybe,
Maybe.
maybe might have pissed
Well,
off about 150,000 people.
ESPN, Miami Herald caught it, man.
Yeah.
It's
I got
catching
told I was
fire
going to
right
get
now.
sued for slander, and I was like, "Well, you better you better sue ESPN and Univision as well."
Yeah,
I don't know.
right. Like,
I'm not sure if you're referring to what is this about.
Uh,
well, the Karens over there up north from us, right? As we like to call them, the Orlando City Karens.
Oh,
yeah.
They're gonna, that's what we're talking about here, right? Is how they've actually helped us promote ourselves, right? Like
Hmm.
none of this would be on the news without them, right? So first of all, big shout out and thank you to our biggest fans up north. Keep making us relevant. Keep doing it, buddy. We love it. Keep
from
doing it because
front
all you're ever gonna
page.
do is make us stronger. But we'll get more into that at the end because, like people saw, there was a response to the vandalism, and the
Hmm.
response was positive, and
Very,
that's
very much.
all. I know Vice City kind of gets a bad rap on social media. There's a lot of slander, actual slander going around with Vice City and different things like that, and let's be honest, there's a lot of other underlying, motives to people's kind of aggression towards Vice City. But I think anything that we've done to show publicly is a positive image, right? How we came together. But we'll get into that in a little bit. Ooh, Yesenia with the fire emojis. Let's go. What's going on, Yesenia? But yeah, let's get right into the fans' perspective. I wanna ask Calypso. I haven't heard too much from you, but
Mhm.
you were at the Cruz Azul game, correct?
Yes, I was.
So give me a little rundown. How's it been as a supporters for you? What's it like? We can start with ticket prices if you'd like.
Oh God, can we please? Because that's why I didn't go to the Atlanta game. The ticket
There you go.
prices,
Yeah, and there you go. Perfect. Yeah.
and of course, because I kind of expected this, but not to this extent. Especially because we're supporters. We're in the North Stand. I have season tickets, but these season tickets don't count towards Leaf Cup for whatever reason. But it is what it is. The team's got to make money. It's mostly I think it's the Ticketmaster thing because they're the ones that run all the tickets for all MLS. So they're gonna do what they do. This is why they had to have a hearing in Congress, and it was bullshit, but whatever. As far as the experience, it was great. I expect it to be a little bit hectic because when you have a situation like that where you have the stadium packed, and we had a smaller section that we normally do because we have to fit as many people as we can into the stadium. It even had to get extended by a couple hundred people or 100 seats.
Couple thousand, I believe.
Couple
Yeah.
thousand, yeah, we went up 1,000, yeah. So I expect it to be hectic. I expect it to be a bit unorganized, but once the game actually got going, it was a fantastic experience. It was great. Hopefully people will understand more, like the rules, and because I saw Cruz Azul jerseys in the north stand, not in our section, but in the north stand nonetheless. My thinking is, if you're a Cruz Azul fan and you go to a Cruz Azul game, sit with the Cruz Azul people. That's just me, but whatever. But it was a great experience. I'm not afraid to admit that when Messi scored that goal, I cried. I cried the manliest man tears I've ever cried in my 34 years of life. It was amazing. It was great to actually see that, especially like I mentioned before. I can't really afford to go to a lot of these League Cup games. So to see that as the very first Messi goal, to get to see that live in person, I'll always remember that. And it was fucking amazing to actually get to experience that. Even though I might not be able to go to every game. I will always remember seeing Messi's first goal, and nobody can ever take that away from me, no matter how expensive the tickets are.
Yeah, and I wanted to get right into the ticket prices too, because I feel like we were being price gouged, and you could talk about Ticketmaster or whatever, but I think Inter Miami does have a big influence on it. I think that they kind of struck gold when it came to the Leagues Cup, because it was Messi's debut. It wasn't like they had already sold cheaper tickets like they did with the MLS games, season tickets or whatever. So they got to kind of dictate the price, and a lot of people, including me, bought extra tickets thinking I could make money off of them. I was lucky enough to break even on my extra tickets, which is great. But one thing I've realized here is the only people profiting is going to be Inter Miami if they're going to go ahead and give these ridiculous prices. But the other part of the fan experience, and you talk about the Cruz Azul jerseys or whatnot, is you're pricing out some of the real fans down here in South Florida. And that's, I think,
Definitely.
Fort Lauderdale mayor spoke about it. And a lot of us have talked about it, is the people who've been coming into Miami games thick and through have been modest people who don't make a lot of money. And by making even supporters tickets $170 to get into the gate, man, that's I don't know how many hours of work that is for me. It's a good 7 hours of work or more. Um, that's a whole day's work for me, and it sucks. And for some people, that's maybe half a week's work. You never know what people get into, or where people work, but I think Inter Miami sort of realized where their problem was, because out of the gate, when it came to the Atlanta match, they tried charging 140, and they didn't sell any tickets to supporters. Barely anybody bought them. I sure as hell didn't buy them at 140. What did they go ahead and do? They dropped them to 100. Even dropping out 100, they still couldn't sell out all the tickets, right, to the supporters. I At the last minute I bit. I was like, you know what? I heard Messi was starting, and I said, you know what? I'll pay $100 to go see Messi start, whatever. And it was well worth the ticket price. Again, this is showing that even though the tickets are expensive, if Inter keeps trying to gouge us, at least we're gonna get our money's worth with Messi and Busquets and Alba coming in. But Jay, what do you think about the tickets? How's your experience been with ticket prices?
Um, so, well, I mean, I get to ride the credential train. So that's nice. But yeah,
Damn,
I
lucky
totally,
you.
I
That's
totally,
awesome.
yeah,
That's what happens
very,
when you're the
very,
OG.
very
There you go.
very grateful because I would not be happy if I had to pay these prices either. And you said it. I mean, it's been 3.5 years of hardship, of subpar football, but of unwavering passion, love, and support for this team. So, I understand the tickets are going to go up. My preference would be let them go up in every other area outside of the supporter stands. If you want to increase on the flanks of the north stand, that's fine, but let the supporters who have been coming here day one get the ticket prices they have known for the previous 3.5 years, because they're the ones that are supporting you, and you want to do everything you can do to maintain and retain them. And we all saw the mass exodus of
There
the
you
the
go.
kind of new messy fans, plastic fans, whatever you want to call them, leaving in the 80th minute. And unless you want every game to be like that, you need to encourage all of your day one supporters to be there with you every single game. And I think it's starting to continue to trickle down. Like I saw some tickets out there for like $60, $65 or
Yeah,
something
yeah. There has
for
been a change.
for the round of 32 game. So they've just got to hone in on that. And I understand it's, they're learning as they go as well. This is a massive change that they're trying to implement in terms of security, even, their personnel internally. So, yeah, there's going to be some growing pains. I hope they'll get it right. I trust them to get it right, but yeah, it's certainly a rocky start.
Right now I'm at Ticketmaster right now, and tickets are about 170 in the North Stand.
Cheapest?
Those might be
I
resale
believe so.
though.
Yeah,
Those are
Might
resale.
be
I think
yeah.
all of the tickets right now for our next game are resale. All of them.
Yeah, so those sold out probably. Jay makes a good point because I saw tickets for 60 when they came out. Not in the supporter section directly, but maybe somewhere in the north stand or the south stand, kind of the more budget seating in the stadium. So I do think that Inter Miami learned a lot. Let's talk about that mass exodus, right? Like Jay mentioned, they were very embarrassed about that. I remember hearing from some people that the team didn't like that, and rightfully so. That's not a good look. It's it's something they want to correct, and I think they realized that when they put out the next tickets for the round of 32, those ticket prices were a little better. I don't know if they'll realize it for the second half of the MLS season. Did you guys get a chance to look at those? Those were really expensive. I don't know if it's like per game basis.
I didn't look.
No, because I have season tickets, so I already have my
Yeah,
tickets.
so we could talk about it in the future, but they'll probably correct those prices as well or something. I don't know.
Because
I
they've
was
got to
looking at it.
honor your price that you bought initially for the season tickets, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
no, they
yeah.
did.
Yeah,
No,
okay.
no, I'm talking about the single game tickets. So they finally
Oh, okay,
released the
okay,
single
okay.
game tickets for the second half, and those were bonkers, dude. Like I looked at the one for my birthday on Wednesday, September 20th, because I wanted to bring some family and friends to the game. I think we played Toronto on my birthday. That's gonna be a great opportunity for me to like bring family out, make it a big party. But at those ticket prices, it looks like I'm just hanging out with the fam, bro, with La Familia, like the actual La Familia, not my actual familia.
Just you and Ashley. That's it.
Yeah, me, Ashley, and the rest of the crew, man. Like, but like you said, Jay, I think you used a really good word when you said growing pains. There's going to be a lot of growing pains. The supporters groups are going through a lot of growing pains as well. Rapid membership increase. I'm sure at the Siege, you guys have seen some crazy fucking membership sales. We've seen some crazy membership sales. People want to be a part of it, and it's more of let's go more into kind of the fan atmosphere outside of the tickets. It's been a little hectic to deal with, right? The people are coming into the stadium. They don't understand the code of supporter sections. So a lot of them are coming in with different jerseys, which is something from day one we've tried to implement and let people know is, hey, your jersey's beautiful. That purple Argentina jersey you have, dude, what a beautiful jersey. Wow, dude. But guess what? A pink and black one would look even better on you, wouldn't it? And those are little things I tried doing so people don't feel too attacked when you're like, hey, get that jersey off, brother. That doesn't belong here, and all of a sudden there's animosity, there's a fight. So we all have our part in trying to get the atmosphere correct. I actually noticed that they put a sign next to our section that gave people kind of a rundown of what to expect when they come into the North Stand, right? Wear pink and black, sing all 90 minutes, wave flags, jump up and down, which is something we've been asking for the team for a long time. I'm glad it's finally here because it's very necessary. But yeah, I also, one last thing from me, and then you guys could add to this if you want. One thing that was talked about today between a few buddies was a lot of these people coming in for these games just want to see Messi once and they're good, right? They're not going to come back every single game. So I think we just kind of have to weather this storm of fake plastic fans that are going to come in, get whatever they have to get, and you know what, and the people who want to stick it through will stick it through. But one thing we can do to grow here is make it appealing for those people. Make it like, hey, you know what, that looks like fun. I could do that with Messi, without Messi, and we'll see what happens.
I agree. The goal here is have Messi bring in eyes on this league and specifically Inter Miami. And the real goal here is, can we get them coming back after 2.5 years, 3.5 years, if he exercises that, that contract year? Will they still come back? And I think if we are, 2 years we sign Neymar or Anton Griezmann, and we kind of make ourselves like the kind of hottest ticket in the league, then I certainly think we can. And yeah, even with talking with the Siege leadership, yeah, I mean, memberships have shot through the roof, right? Like we're unaffiliated, we're impartial, right? I guess we're kind of affiliated with every single supporters group, but we are not ourselves a member of any. We just we support everyone out here, but it's been crazy. As you guys notice in the tailgates, man, I mean, there's a lot of new faces.
We got a lot of new people in Vice City. I'll tell you that right now.
Dude,
Yeah.
We got a lot of new
the
faces.
last tailgate, we talked about it. This last tailgate of Vice City, they priced out most of Vice City. So a lot of the people at the tailgate were just like people's friends that were like invited and stuff, and it felt weird not knowing anybody. It felt weird. Like I've been going to the stadium 3.5 years, and all of a sudden I'm new, and all these people know each other, but I don't know them. That's part of it, like you said.
It's like 3/4 of the people, like, yeah, I never even seen before. And you guys know, like every game, like I bounce around to all 5 of the supporters groups to say what's up, you know, to show love. And you know, that's one of my favorite things to do. You know, just catch up with everyone, make sure everyone's good, and there's that intimacy, you know, that kind of love and brothership that everyone has. But you know, give it some time. Maybe everyone will introduce themselves, and I'm sure there's a lot of cool people out there that join. But you know, it's just the adjustments we're gonna have to work through.
Definitely. Akeem, what did you like about well, you kind of went through most of it. Anything else you want to add?
All I'll say is, people follow the rules, please. If you come hang out with us, please do not come in our section. One thing I will say is, I saw a guy wearing a Bada 76 jersey, and for those that know, me and Wario both Bada 76 members. Santos is beating Orlando right now.
Oh, there was a weather delay. What's the score? 1-0?
Just 1-0, 40th minute.
Come on, Orlando.
Hilarious. Hey, win or lose, I'm gonna laugh.
Exactly.
Win or lose, I'm laughing.
It's a win-win for us.
So even there was a guy wearing a Bar 76, I went to him like, yo, take that off. I'm Bar 76, and I'm not wearing that here. We're not wearing any others. So stuff like that, that's gonna be growing pains. It'll happen. People will learn. People will get mad. They'll get over it. We've been here for 3 years. We know how we want our section, and if you follow the rules, you will have a fucking amazing time. That's all we ask. We don't ask for much. We ask everybody to have fun and follow the very simple rules we have.
And one thing that I will tell people, if there's any new members listening of Vice City, new members of Siege, new members of Southern Legion, you might see a lot of people in these groups that you might think are like entitled or like, why are they the boss or whatever. Well, you have to understand that a lot of these people have been around a long time doing this. Like Akeem said, we know what we're doing. We know what the image is. We're working with the club. We're not just anybody's that are just trying to boss people around, right? And we're trying to work together to increase the atmosphere for Inter Miami. That's always been the goal. That will always be the goal, is support Inter Miami, show them love, show them, sing for 90 minutes, show them that we're here for them, win or lose. And I do think that it might seem in the beginning like you're just a small fish in a very big pond, but that's not the case. If you come in consistently, if you do the work, if you come, help set up, if you come to the tailgates early, introduce yourself, and talk around with people, you'll see that you get acclimated to this family very quickly. It's surprising how quickly somebody can be turned from a new face into just like a foundation of the entire group. So if that's your thing, if you're really about it, come through, man. We're actually friendly people. We come off of these as these aggressive, crazy supporters with the pink smoke, but we're all a bunch of teddy bears.
Yeah,
we really are,
I 100% concur with that. There are some hard-looking dudes in Vice City, but all you got to do is just go talk to them, and they are extremely nice.
Yeah, we're very friendly,
man, and hospitable. I mean, you guys have shown me love since day one.
That's why it's called La Familia. We treat everybody like family, like all of them.
And as much as people might think, oh, well, they're trying to emulate South America. Yeah, we're trying to emulate the good parts of South America. We're not trying to emulate the negative parts of supporters culture. And I think there's a supporters group just north of us that dresses in purple that is trying to emulate those negative aspects, right? They practice vandalism. And yeah, let's get right into it. Fuck it. We'll get into Messi at the end. We'll save the best for last. Let's talk about the vandalism that was done. And you know what? It's really sad to me that some people could be so miserable, so sad, so angry at their supporters that they could see a wall that was worked on, I think, by 80 or more people, 8 nights. It was a big community project. It wasn't done by a single person. It was meant to be a welcoming to Vice City, a welcoming to Miami from the members. This mural was a beautiful mural. It got attention, it got a good amount of attention, in the beginning, but I think it did get overshadowed a little bit by the Design District mural. There was also the other mural that the guy did, and
the really
those
big
were
that was on the news all day.
Those were done by professional muralists. Ours was done by community, and that's fine. So our rivals up north, if you guys didn't know, came in. They bought purple paint. They left the receipt next to the paint, I believe, or like they left the sticker
They did?
of the shop. Yeah, and the
I
time
didn't
they
even know
bought it,
that.
date they bought it. It's hilarious how our friends are so smart,
And they're
so
investigating.
intelligent.
Per Michelle Kaufman, they're investigating.
Gave
So,
us
damn,
1-1,
they
by
left
the way.
they left the receipt. Yeah, have they never watched like one true crime show in their life?
The game is 1-1. Orlando's tied it.
Oh, that just decided. Okay,
There we go.
1-1.
Okay.
you know what? This is a weird situation where some of us want Orlando to
I'm
win.
laughing.
Most of us want Orlando to win,
I'm
just to go
laughing
kick
either
their
way.
ass on Wednesday.
Yep,
I want
that's
all
all
the
it is.
smoke.
Yeah, fuck it.
We want it. So I they did try share. I think you guys were talking about it earlier. There was talks on social media where they were trying to like push the blame towards Atlanta fans, and Atlanta fans were
They
like, what the fuck are
were.
you guys talking about?
So weirdly, because I'm perpetually on Twitter. Half of them were like, "Oh, how do you know it was a real Orlando fan?" Half of them were like, "Oh yeah, fuck these guys." So like, some of them wanted to take credit, some of them didn't. So it was like really weird.
Well, that shows you how shitty of an act that is, right? The people wanting to take credit for it are just shitty human beings, and the people not wanting to take credit for it are realizing that their supporters group made a big mistake there. Why are you asking they made a big mistake? That didn't even last more than 3 or 4 hours, I believe. The purple. Actually, wait.
It was the next day, I think.
No. Let me clear this up. It actually didn't last an hour. Within an hour, it's not Vice City itself, like members of Vice City didn't show up immediately, but you know who did? Street artists. Like literal Miami street artists showed up. They went and fixed it for us. They had a different
I
shade of
didn't know
pink that we had to, you didn't know that, right? And then some bits of purple that they couldn't go over, they wrote fuck Orlando on it and they wrote Vice City on it or whatever. And that was done entirely by street artists here in Miami. Nobody in Vice City was there until I believe like 8 or 9 p.m. So by the time we got there, we were like, holy shit. I remember being like, damn, like who is here working on it? And somebody was like, no. Some street artists, they found out what happened. They love Vice City. They love Inter Miami. And they came out and they helped us out. And then we went over with their shade of pink. We kind of filled it up. And dude, by like 1 a.m., boom, it was over. Conspiracy, was it Orlando? I think it's very obviously Orlando. I think at a certain point they kind of were excited at the prospect of playing us, and they kind of wanted to say, hey, look at me, right? But our response was so positive. We had about 30 people that night come and fix it. The next night we finalized it. And that positive response is really what garnered the attention, because that mural's been up for a month and a half. Like I said earlier, it gained some attention. It didn't gain too much attention. ESPN made an article about it. Diario Las Americas, Olay, AS,
Univision.
front cover of the Herald, supposedly a digital copy. I went to go try to buy the physical copy. It wasn't on there. I was like so mad, dude, because somebody sent us the digital copy and Akeem posted it. That's the front page of the Herald's digital paper today. So to make it to the front page of the Herald, mama, we made it. And thank you to the haters. You brought us here.
Yeah, no, it was a poor like. I don't know if it's because it was anticipation of potentially playing us in the round of 32. I know that the Orlando fans have been extremely mad with the MLS news cycle, with all the hosts, with extra time. There's so much talk around the club and Messi, and I just think they were bitter, man. I honestly do. They act like their kind of defense was, well, we wouldn't drive 3.5 hours down to Miami to
Yes,
do
they
that.
would.
It's like, yeah, 100%. Like two
Yes,
guys
they
could be
would.
drinking and be like, yo, let's go do it. Literally. But I see Orlando City fans in Miami or South Florida fairly often. I saw one yesterday, so I posted a tweet about this. And then I dropped my son off at his summer camp, posted the tweet when I got in my car, drove not even like 2 minutes later. I just saw a dude in Orlando City jersey just walking. Like they exist down here. So maybe someone has a.
I have a friend who's an Orlando fan. Who he became an Orlando fan because he goes up there a lot, and this was before we even had a team. So he wanted MLS team, so he said, "Fuck it, I'm gonna be an Orlando fan." So there are definitely Orlando fans down here.
They exist out here, and then they were trying to push it on Atlanta. Like,
I saw
it's
that a
Atlanta
lot.
fans because they're mad you beat them. Like, okay, so an Atlanta fan's gonna be mad that we beat them. Drive, 45 minutes down south to Miami, find that mural after a loss like that late at night. Like, no, that's not going to happen.
In Wynwood, not even near the stadium where they would be. Also, Bernie, were there Atlanta fans at the game? Because I didn't go to the game. Were there Atlanta fans at the game?
I didn't see any.
Because everybody bought the tickets were sold out. So there were barely any Atlanta fans here.
But Atlanta fans come over and are very polite. Anytime
They
that we
are.
play them, they come over, introduce themselves. They hang out. They bring like stickers. They want to do scarf exchanges. I've seen out there. So like Atlanta
Yes.
fans are fine. There's one fan base that is pretty notorious in the East that everyone does not like, and because they act in a
Nobody likes
childish way,
Orlando fans. Literally
you know?
nobody from any fan base. Everybody equally shits on Orlando fans because they're equally garbage.
And then you want to tell me there's an Atlanta fan so clever in their strategy that they would also spray paint tag Florida is pink? Like, no.
Yeah,
like,
yeah, they put Florida as purple. The only and
or
only Orlando.
Florida is
yeah,
purple. Yeah,
only Orlando fans.
No, you
say
were
that.
you were wrong, Jay. Florida is pink.
it is pink. Well, hey, I've got a. We're gonna make a hashtag trend here.
You know what? The whole world is pink right now. The whole fucking world is pink.
It's gonna be the number one selling jersey in the world, man. I've got buddies that live in Europe, and they're reaching out to me, asking questions, and just so happy because they know that we've been doing this for so long, and this is the reward we get, man. We get to see a beautiful game of football being played, a night and day difference. You get to see players elevated in the hunger, the drive, so much more. So yeah, we're living the best time in our club's history. And to the north, we've got Orlando City, who hasn't really been anything in their existence. And they're all mad that we're the new kids, on the block, and we're getting all this
I think that's
attention.
what it is. The insecurity is that they're always going to get compared to us. Always, they'll never get compared to like Atlanta. Even when they get compared to Atlanta, it's always Joseph Martinez shitting on them. So they have Atlanta up north that shit on them constantly. Then they have us, who have the best player in the world, and yes, they've beat us a couple more times than we beat them, but we beat them and we have that 4-1 that I post about constantly. And now we have Messi. So now they're extra mad. Now they're just like suffering and coping and seething.
But you're so dumb to vandalize a mural of Messi where like 1 in every 10 people on this planet follow him. And now all this stuff all blew up, and now there's all these new Inter Miami or MLS fans from Latin America, from Europe, from the Middle East, from Asia that are now seeing how scumbag this club is. And I that's kind of like what I tweeted about this. I was like, this is ridiculous. Like, just let their actions be seen by the world. And additionally, I kind of commented, like, keep in mind their only accomplishment is one Open Cup that they had to cheat and spy on a second division team to win because they weren't confident in their own skills to beat a second division team. Like,
Spying
it's
at
just
motherfuckers in
petty.
a park.
It's just
Very petty. Very petty. And like you said, if you look at the comment sections, they got fans in South America, Europe, all over the world saying fuck Orlando. They all hate Orlando now. You know what? So thank you. Thank you guys again for showing the world how shitty you truly are and how hateable you are. You guys are great. And then how lovable we are. We're the guys in pink. The Barbie movie just came out. Everybody's got Barbie mania. You got the guys rolling into the movie with their girlfriends wearing their pink and black,
That's a conspiracy theory now. Did MLS
saw
and
that
Messi
tweet.
coordinate with the Barbie movie?
With Hollywood. Well, if we want to get into the next topic, which is a perfect segue right here, right? Because another conspiracy theory, a big one going around, is that the free kick was staged, that it was scripted.
I saw that.
So, hey, Barbie movie, Messi movie,
I think I saw that on TikTok, and a guy literally had to explain how free kicks work. Because they're like, oh, why is the goalie on that side of the goal? Like,
because his wall is there, you moron. His wall is supposed to protect that side. You know how hard it is to kick a ball over a wall of human beings that are jumping up high as hell? And you have to bend the ball up, and then it has to come right back down.
They had 5 guys in the wall, and then they had a guy on the floor, so you couldn't do the fucking Ronaldinho thing where you could get under the wall.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so, when the wall jumps, you get it under them, yeah.
So they had it covered, and I think I don't know where the stat comes from, but I saw a stat, I think it was in the same video, that said that goal that he made, he had like a 5% chance of making that. And he made it anyways because he's the GOAT.
It's Messi, dog. I saw that, like, 5%, I saw mine up, and I was like, bro, that's too much. Just slightly off to the left of the middle of that box, man.
And he's a lefty, so like, why would you do that?
Yeah.
But conspiracy theory, they're gonna make up anything they want to like make us look bad. Whatever, man.
This is gonna be what's gonna happen for the foreseeable future.
Yeah,
You're gonna see a
I'm
lot
laughing.
of these conspiracy theories. A lot of they're cheating, they're breaking the rules. MLS needs to investigate them, as if we want to be under scrutiny for like we're still under sanctions. Like, of course, they're gonna be scrutinizing that roster, but there's gonna be a lot of hate and conspiracy theories and just stuff that you can either just take the high road, smile and enjoy the best time
I'm
in
loving
Miami's history, or like if you got time and want the smoke, have fun with it, but it's going to be a lot of it.
It is, and that's why I'm honestly, man, trying to avoid social media at all costs. It is a cesspool in there right now, so I'm
That's
I'm
what
just trying to
here
stay
for.
away because, like you said, people are gonna nitpick and find any little thing that they could harp on to try to bring us down. And
Mm-hmm.
that's a perfect segue into our next topic, which is the reality we're in right now. Like you said, Jay, this is the best era of Inter Miami, possibly ever. You spoke about. I do want to say one last thing before we talk about everything we're currently living in the present and everything that's happened. You spoke about the next generation coming in, right? Because after Messi, now the full expectation is that Inter Miami is going to be a staple in the MLS and always carry one of these world class type players. And my expectation is for the rest of the MLS to get their own world class players, to get their own pillars in their own franchises. And I fully expect the rules to kind of change a little bit here to allow players like Neymar, Griezmann to maybe come in a little earlier. Dude, I thought of a crazy one the other day, and I think it's gonna happen, man. I think like 8, maybe 9 years from now, maybe less. Can you imagine Christian Pulisic playing for Inter Miami? Can you
He
imagine
said
him
he
wearing that
said
number?
he said he would love to in Inter Miami be his team, primarily for family reasons, right? But
Yeah.
Really?
this
He's from
club,
Yeah, he has.
Pennsylvania.
He has, and he said that his favorite World Cup city was Miami. Calypso,
go.
Akeem, you're getting Christian Pulisic one day.
Oh no!
There
Don't
we
tell
go.
me that. Don't
But
tell me that.
the Inter Miami, this expansion team, right? It was really more of a failed company, failed brand that launched, right? And a lot of
100%.
fans got tainted with the Gonzalo Higuain, not playing well until basically the end of his contract here, and then Matuidi not really being what he was promised to be, and
was
but
never
now
Matuidi.
that's also not spoken about enough when we're talking about this team signing Messi and Busquets is like now we have established the brand. Now the brand is known all over the world, and now it's finally starting to be what it was supposed to be from its inception. So yeah, and heavy rumors that Suarez is going to sign at in the wintertime before next season, and we're going to see some more names rolling. And yeah, people are like, oh, we didn't get Messi. MLS is helping him. It's like, well, dude, like he has properties in Miami. It's not sorry that Miami is one of the most desirable cities to live in the world. I'm sorry that people don't want to go to like Salt Lake City or Orlando, maybe Mbappe doesn't want to come to Columbus. But like, why not? It's an attractive city, and now it's an attractive team.
You mean to tell me that the best players in the world, do not want to go to Kansas City? Is that what you're telling me right now?
Yeah, exactly.
And,
Exactly.
And that's another thing, right? Is you're gonna see maybe the New York City teams, right? The New York-based teams, they might be able to pull off some big players because that's another desirable place to live. Los Angeles, another desirable place to live. Possibly maybe San Jose. San Jose is kind of cool. I don't know how much of a chance they really have, but the rest of the teams are gonna have to come up with a formula quick. Right, they're gonna have to come up with ways to create strong teams that can compete with these teams because I ultimately do think this move is gonna grow the MLS. We're not the only people that are Messi fans, right? Just regular soccer fans. Players in the game are Messi fans, right? Players playing in Europe right now who are looking at going to a team that maybe isn't competing in Champions League or something, or maybe looking whatever move, they might say, you know what, I want to go play with Messi in MLS. I want to go play against Messi. I want to go, go up against the best and have a rivalry against them. And that, I hate to say this, but that's Orlando City's best avenue, right? You're gonna try to find someone who maybe wants to build a rivalry with him, maybe like a fellow Argentine or maybe like a Chilean player or something. I don't know. But they're gonna have to get creative, and I look forward to seeing the growth of the league. And before the league gets too good, I do want to see us win a few open MLS Cups. I do think we have a really good opportunity of winning Open Cup this year. It's just 2 more wins and we got it. Leagues Cup, we're looking fucking great.
Yeah, we are.
That's 5 more games.
Yeah, that's 5 more wins.
We
5
could
more
pull a
wins,
double.
and
We could pull a double this year, and then
Double, maybe a triple.
and now we got more hardware than Orlando City. They're gonna
Definitely.
hate
To be honest, I kind of just want to win the Open Cup just to rub it in their face. That's it.
Just
That's the
a
only
year later. Who cares?
Yeah, that's
I
it.
want an MLS Cup more than anything, right?
Yeah.
An MLS Cup to me is like one of the biggest things I want, right? But it seems really hard that we're going to make the playoffs this year. I do think maybe we'll be able to sneak in. Maybe we're able to win MLS Cup. That'll be great if we do, obviously. But the
That would
CONCACAF
require a
Champions
movie.
League.
That would be a documentary style,
Yeah.
full-fledged
Bro,
movie.
the
Apple-
triplet,
on Apple
the
TV.
triple,
Yeah.
and
On Apple
and then you got the CONCACAF Champions League coming up after that, which Messi already looked great against a team like Cruz Azul. If we end up playing Santos, I'm actually looking forward to that too. That's more practice against better teams, honestly. Like it'd be great to beat up on Orlando 5-0, 6-0, wherever we're gonna kick their ass by if we face them. But a tough contested 3-1 against Santos might be better for the team's development. And might prepare them more for something like Champions League or like the later rounds of the Leagues Cup. But I wanted to ask both of you this, and this is going to be an obvious answer here, but like, how have you been enjoying this Leagues Cup? I can tell you that I've been over the moon. This is a dream for
Bro,
me.
I have loved this Leagues Cup because it is absolute fucking madness.
It's mayhem.
I'm me, how I love the game. You know how both love the game. Bernie has heard me talk about the game nonstop, but even Jay, you might not know. Like, I love soccer. I will watch any level. I will watch World Cup, our Women's World Cup. I will watch reserve team. If it's on, I'm watching it. So to see the madness, like fucking 19 rounds of penalties, double red cards, it's like peak just popcorn drama. A lot of people don't know this. I don't watch TV. I don't really watch movies. I like the last movie I went to, I think Star Wars, the Force Awakens. I like the last movie
Wow.
I've seen in theaters.
Wow.
So like
dude,
I
that's
don't
crazy.
I don't watch a lot of TV outside of soccer and wrestling. That's all the TV I watch. So this has been peak entertainment. I don't have to worry about my team losing. I've been thoroughly enjoying this. It's been the best drama ever.
Toluca Nashville the other day. Did you watch Toluca Nashville?
No, I think I was watching a different game.
That was such a great game, dude. They were fucking tied 2-2, and then Toluca ended up stealing it at the end 4-2. But it was just like Nashville would score a goal, Toluca would score
Oh
a goal.
no!
Nashville would score a goal.
You didn't see my tweet. I was watching the first half, and I was like, okay, they were down like what, 2-0 or something like that, or it was tied. And then
It was tied 2-2,
I
I
go
think.
smoke a joint, and I come back, and they're losing. I'm like, wait, what the fuck? What is going on?
Yeah, it was one of those.
I leave to smoke a joint. I come back. I'm like, bro, what the fuck? The fucking. I watched the whole penalty shootout at 1 a.m. with like Vancouver and I forget the other team just going back and forth where they had to have goalies go. It was
That's
crazy.
the best. I love it.
It
I
was
felt
so
bad for
good.
St. Louis. St. Louis got smashed by Chivas. Like
Yeah.
they've been having such a great
destroyed.
season.
And
But
I was
Chivas
looking
is
forward to
such a
that
great
game
team,
too,
man.
I thought that was going to be a lot more competitive, but
they
I've just been enjoying it
destroyed them.
because there has been this sometimes very bitter rivalry between Liga MX and MLS of who's better. So this tournament's set up great because like every single game, it's a little more heated than
It's
you know,
been
a traditional
madness.
tournament you'd see. Yeah, it's great.
There's been so many like red cards, craziness. Even in the Atlanta game there was like a missed penalty. Like it's like the most CONCACAF tournament. It's been amazing.
Yes, the best way to describe it. It is CONCACAF to a T.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
it is the most CONCACAF thing. It's amazing.
I think it also speaks to like how bittersweet it is, right? Like as a fan, like we were talking about, the prices suck, the stadium's filling up, it's going crazy. But at the end of the day, you're leaving the stadium so happy, right? And you're watching the rest of this tournament, and you're looking at these teams, and you're like, we can kick anybody's ass in this tournament.
We're
So
really
it's been a lot of fun, man. I'm gonna turn on the the Santos Orlando game now in a second. I actually don't like watching it during the pod because then I don't pay attention too much to what you guys are saying.
I've been,
and I'm like
um,
zoned out.
I've
or
been,
whatever,
like,
but
looking
I'm
at
just
that.
waiting on updates.
They're
for
still
the
on.
team.
They're still at halftime. They're about to get back on the field right now.
They're 1-1. Okay. Well, dude, it's been a blast talking to you guys today. I gotta check out in a little bit here. I might let you guys talk for a little bit if you want. We can do our final thoughts. But I was telling you guys earlier, we're going to Roundup tonight for some square dancing and some good old country.
Nice.
So it's gonna be a blast. I'm gonna cover up this pink hair before the homophobia.
Right. My cowboy boots are literally standing up downstairs. Like I might have to go talk to Chloe and just slide those bad boys on and go live my
Hell yeah,
my
dude.
full
Bring-
potential.
Come on
Yeah.
over, bro. We'll be out there. We'll be out there late.
Yeah, that's fine. We can wrap up real quick. I just want to go over just some quick leagues talk stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
So let's see. What do we have on the schedule? So, like, yeah, currently Atlanta is actually tied with Cruz Azul right now in the 90th minute. So they're about to wrap up. Charlotte is beating Necaxa. I think that's how you say that. 3-1.
Wait, so if Atlanta and Cruz Azul are tied, by the way, guys.
Let me
Here's
double
another thing
check
we
the
could talk. Let's
standings.
talk some Leagues Cup for sure before we sign out. If Atlanta and Cruz Azul are tied, whoever wins those penalties is advancing, and whoever loses is not, because neither team has points. Both teams are at 0. They both took the L from yours truly, from Inter Miami. We can go over that a little bit too. Actually, we didn't do that, but the first game was a movie, like you all know. Everybody saw it. The free kick heard around the world. Inter Miami got a nasty goal from Robert Taylor. Who, we didn't talk about Robert Taylor. No, time out. This is not ending until we talk about the beast that has awakened in Robert
I'm happy
Taylor.
to talk about this subject because I
So
proudly answered Robbie Taylor as being the most, the one that will benefit the most from Tata Martino and Messi coming while everyone was
And you
looking
were
at
correct.
Leo.
You were
and
correct, my
Yosef,
friend.
And he's scored some bangers before. Like,
Yeah,
he's
dude,
not
remember the one?
garbage.
He can't
Remember the
score,
John
it's
Mota
happening.
pass that was supposed to go to Pizarro and he volleys it?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, and this is just what we needed is him having somebody who can feed him. Now that he has somebody that can feed him, like you said, and a coach that can actually play a beautiful attacking style, the sky's the limit for someone like Robert Taylor.
And a coach that has developed wingers as well. Like it really is. And I'm so happy for him. And we were at the press conference. What was that, on Tuesday, the 24th? And it was Tata and Robbie Taylor. And he was just saying, like, I've been playing so many positions at this club, and that's fine. I'm comfortable playing, but I'm really happy that I'm starting again. And I really want to keep that up. And given his form right now, like there is no way
Feed the hot hand.
he is not going to be a starter going forward. I don't think I've ever seen him score just a tap in or some easy goal. Everyone is an absolute banger, highlight
Bangers
reel.
only.
I mean, he's going to have a really impressive highlight reel by the end of this season. I truly believe that. And he's just I saw someone said Leo Messi is turning Robbie Taylor into Robert Lewandowski.
Nice. I
And
love
then
it.
We were joking saying Robbie Taylor's just a Finnish Lewis Morgan.
I want to get his jersey. I want to get his.
We got
that
Morgan
Finland
back,
jersey's
guys.
nice.
He's back,
then-
guys.
yeah.
Lewis is back. He's disguised as a Finnish dude named Robert Taylor.
And then someone said Lewis Morgan's just the Scottish Robbie Taylor, and I was like, yes.
Yeah.
Orlando up 2-1.
there we go.
Shit! Let's go.
I
Can't
sent
believe
well
we're
wishes
fucking
to
getting
some
hyped for that.
Orlando fans today, wishing them the best of luck from the bottom of my heart.
I'm not gonna go over every group because there's a bajillion groups, but I'll just go over some certain teams. Portland, let's see, Portland, Leon, America, Columbus, Minnesota, Cincinnati, how do you pronounce that? Mesolatan. And Inter Miami have all clinched spots. The only eliminated team is St. Louis. They're the only
St. Louis got eliminated. Sad.
because they lost both their games.
Yeah, that's
that's
so
sad.
wild.
I think the rest of the MLS are kind of rooting for St. Louis in a way. I don't know. I think it's a cool story.
They're the expansion club that like got it right, but a lot of people forget that they kind of got a free year because they played MLS 2 before they
MLS
started.
Next Pro. MLS Next Pro, yeah.
People know what I mean. MLS Next Pro before they got into MLS proper, so they kind of had a whole season, a season 0 before they actually started. So like a lot of people forget that.
Yeah. So you were talking about how Miami advanced. So if you've been living under a rock, yeah, we advanced. Messi came in, and I believe the 55th minute of
Something
the
like
game
that.
against Cruz Azul, the game completely changed. That's another thing I want to talk with you guys about, the quality of play when him and Busquets came in. Like, we were all drooling all over ourselves,
Especially
watching
the
these
way
guys
Busquets
take
frees them.
defenders, complete
Wow.
passes, control the ball. It was a delight to see. One thing that people have talked about is the defense we're going to lose with them. And rightfully so. We saw it. We gave up a goal. Kind of Kamal Miller failed to mark. I forgot the name of the guy. He scores a pretty nasty goal there. But again, Papa came to save the day, bro. Papa came and fucking scored his free kick. And that was a beautiful free kick. What's the face for, Calypso?
I'm just realizing that we might not face Orlando depending on where they play. Okay, they're in first, so we would face them next. Okay, good.
No. We're the only. Here's another thing. We're the only. Leagues Cup is a fucking shit show, by the way, because
It's because they give
LAFC.
the champions buys.
Yeah, they,
Yeah.
So
they gave the two
yeah.
champions buys, right? The groups were three teams. You were used to seeing four
Hmm.
teams in groups, and there's only, two group matches because of it. There's penalties after whatever. This is a crazy tournament to
I
not a
like the
lot to get used
penalties
to.
though. I do like
But
that.
I like it. I like it. And we're
Yeah.
the only group that has to face a winner. That's
Yes.
kind of a disadvantage, but in a
That's
way
what
we
threw
could have
me
faced a
off.
champion.
That's what threw
Yeah.
me off. We have to face a winner of South
That threw me
two,
off too. That threw me off too.
which
And we got
currently
blessed with 2 home games, for
yes,
also for Messi's
awesome.
debut. So
And
whoever wins the game tonight, as long as it's the situation is pretty crazy. If someone wins like basically outright, then
They're on PKs.
we're gonna play them. But then the
yeah.
draw situation comes up and it goes into that tiebreaker. So like they need to score more than 3 and draw and to get away from that tiebreaker. So that'll be something to watch.
What's his name went over it? Forget his name now. Ian Hess. Ian Hess went over it.
Yeah.
If the draw is 2-2 or higher, Santos advances and wins the penalties. Santos advances or something. I don't know.
And if it's
all over the
zero,
place
if
a
it's
little
0-0,
bit.
1-1, Houston advances. If it's 2-2,
I did want
advances.
to touch on something you mentioned though, the being blessed to host 2 games, right? In the beginning of the tournament, before I understood it, I was kind of like, oh shit, we were given 2 games to host, and there was given to us. No, that was not given to us. The nature of this tournament was
Interesting.
that no Liga MX team could host. In order for logistics to work, what they did was it's a U.S. and Canada only tournament, I believe, and only MLS teams can host. So if there's a matchup with a Liga MX team, the MLS team will always host. Now, who determines the hosting when it's MLS versus MLS? That is based on the 2022 Supporters Shield standings. So Miami finished 12th in Supporters Shield standing, meaning if we play anybody in the MLS that's 11th or above, we're away. If we play anybody 13th and below, like Orlando, it's at home. Now, some people were curious as to why Inter Miami already started selling the tickets if they didn't know who their opponent was. Well, if Santos wins, Liga MX means we automatically host. Let's say Houston or Orlando advance. We also automatically host because Orlando's 13th, and I believe Houston was like 14th or something like that. So keep that in mind going forward, guys. If you're wondering, is Inter Miami going to host this next game? If it's a Liga MX team, we're going to host. If it's a team that was 11th or higher in the standings of last year, in the Supporter Shield standings, then we're going to be away. And if it's anybody who was 13 or below, then we're going to host.
Also,
So,
another weird quirk of hosting all the games in America. Even if you host the game, you're technically not considered the home team. Like the game against Cruz Azul, they were listed as the home team.
go ahead.
We're gonna need to,
yeah.
We should post that on social just so everyone is aware. Yeah. So
Yeah.
Orlando, 13th and Houston 25th. So really, the ones that we don't want to draw. I mean, it doesn't matter. Like I still think we'll be able to play fairly well away, especially considering our new additions. But yeah, I mean, it's LAFC, Philly, Montreal, Austin, both New York clubs, Dallas, LA, Nashville, Cincinnati, Minnesota. Those are really the only ones.
Those are the only clubs that we would go away against.
Yeah.
And the final is in SoFi Stadium, I believe, as well.
Makes sense.
And if you guys didn't know this, the top 3 teams, anybody listening, top 3 teams advance to the CONCACAF Champions League. I love that.
Champions Cup. They changed it. It's a Champions.
Oh, they changed the
Cup
name.
now.
That's right. They changed the name.
This is
Like
Champions.
Rick Ross, Triple C.
I like that better. Champions Cup is a lot better.
I do.
like
I do.
football.
I always thought CCL was a little bit copycat. I thought it was a little copycat
Yeah.
of Europe, and I didn't like that. I like how Copa Libertadores is very like original on its own. It's like it's a Champions League style tournament and doesn't have to rob the name. And obviously I think Libertadores has probably been going on for longer than Champions League anyway too, because
Yeah.
it used to be UEFA Cup for a while too.
Yeah.
But something just to piggyback off that, right? So, I mean, we're in a pretty good position here because if the top 3 from Leagues Cup get a berth to the CCC and the winner of the Open Cup gets a berth to the CCC, we literally got our hands in all 4 opportunities right there,
We do.
And
We do.
that's something that I think outside, and I agree with you, like with MLS Cup being kind of the premier thing you want to win, right? But I think there's so many individuals who are really focusing and really want to get to the CCC, right, and get into that Champions League style play. So if we can make that happen, that's just going to be prime.
Yeah, it's the first time in our club's history we haven't done a lot of winning. And if you guys didn't know, in order to make it to the CONCACAF Champions Cup or the formerly known as Champions League, you had to either win the Open Cup, Supporters Shield, MLS Cup, and the fourth berth, I believe, was a Canadian champion, something
Yeah,
like that.
exactly.
And then
Yeah.
if there was any overlap, if there was anybody like last year's Supporters Shield champion was LAFC, and also the MLS Cup champion was LAFC, they kind of give it to second in Supporters Shield standing, whatever. And the reason why we would love to make it to a tournament like that, number one, is fans. I want to travel to Mexico. I want to. Oh, Akeem's face is something crazy.
I'm watching
happened.
the penalty shootout. Cruz Azul just he just skied it.
Skied it. Oof.
Yeah.
That's not looking good for him. But yeah, like traveling to Mexico, traveling to Central America, it could be Costa Rica, it could be Guatemala, it could be Nicaragua, it could be Honduras. Like that's a super cool away trip. I know a lot of people might think like, oh,
If we got a game in the Dominican Republic, I'm not coming back. Just know that right now. If I go missing,
a game
just
in
know.
Puerto Rico or something, that'd be great, right? But just and it's also the chance at another trophy, at another great trophy, mind you. MLS Cup, yeah, premier trophy for sure for an MLS team. That's how you get the stars above your crest. That's kind of how you're known around the MLS. But if you want to get known around the world and known around CONCACAF, like that's the way to do it too, man. The Champions Cup is a huge trophy. In my opinion, probably bigger than MLS Cup, probably more significant.
I would agree with that. MLS Cup means a lot in America,
For
right?
us.
But the CCC Cup or whatever they're gonna call it, I think is the ultimate threshold. And if you win the CONCACAF Champions Cup, right? If you win that entire tournament, well, now you're going to the FIFA Club World Cup, where you can go play. Good luck, probably against like a Real
Premier League
Madrid,
champ.
a Bayern, München or something like that. But that's really that's massive. I mean, talk about brand exposure, talk about success in all the moves you've made this year. If somehow maybe Messi's last year, we're having a shot to really win the entire thing and go play and who knows? I mean, the team's gonna be pretty raw, so it's a fun time, and there's a lot of things to look forward to finally.
Yeah, and kind of just like you said, the subject of today's pod is how great everything's been this year, how great everything's been the last few days. As the hey, hold the Vice City flag, babe. Do not let it touch the floor, please.
Do not let that to the floor.
No, it's okay. Just grab it, babe.
Sacrilege.
Okay, that works.
Man.
Whatever. Before this thing touches the floor.
What the? This has been the weirdest shootout.
But yeah, man, it's a great time to be an Inter Miami fan, right? A lot of us have been weary for times like this, and we've been promised times like this from ownership. It's great to finally be living it.
They finally delivered. They promised us like, hey, be patient with us. Be patient with us. They got as soon as we got Chris Henderson, we started to see things turn around. He started trimming the fat, and now we're getting to feast. We're getting to the main course, and this is where the rubber meets the road. And now we get to see what Inter Miami is made of.
It really is, and I truly believe, and I've stated this many times, on our podcast or in other shows and stuff. But football isn't about winning. Football is about suffering. It's the suffering that brings everyone close together. It's the suffering with the people that you see every single week, sometimes multiple times a week, that makes that brotherhood so intense. It's all that suffering that you go through, which makes the winning or the glory days that much more enjoyable and beautiful. And 3.5 years is the suffering that everyone here has put up with, and still showed mad love to everyone. Every game showed up, didn't waver, stayed there. And for all this to happen, and Calypso, you said it, like you cry tears. I have seen grown men cry tears of beauty, tears of joy, tears of happiness. And that's what makes this sport so beautiful. If you don't get passionate about this, if you don't love seeing this, then I don't know, man, if your heart's beating or not, but this is what it's all about.
Yeah, I'll say real quick as we wrap up, and as Atlanta just missed a penalty, especially if you're not into MLS or you only now get into MLS, this whole Messi thing, not only is it good for everybody, it's like this is what soccer is. The craziness, the madness, all the fanfare. If you don't like this whole Messi thing coming to MLS, I'm sorry, but you just don't like soccer. I'm sorry. This is a great story, regardless of who you support. Unless you're an Orlando fan, then life is just miserable all over. But if you're I don't know if you saw that guy Kevincho, who's a
Yeah, I see him on Twitter. He's a
He's a
like
Kansas
a-
City supporter.
He's a big Messi fan.
KC, right?
He's a Kansas City supporter, but he's Argentinian. He's a River Plate fan. He grew up Argentinian, and he loves this. He's streaming our games. He's enjoying it as much as he can because he's like fuck it. I grew up a Messi fan. I grew up a River Plate fan. So I'm going to enjoy this for what it is, even though I'm a Kansas City fan, and I love that.
He made a really cool comment that I saw, which was, he personally said he's gonna watch every single minute of Messi playing,
Of course,
because this could be the end of the greatest player in the world ever's career.
Yeah.
enjoy it.
And you don't know how much longer you have watching him, right? He does have a 2.5 year contract. We are guaranteed the rest of the season and 2 more seasons, and then he has an option for a third. And
But
we're living the
he's
dream.
not going anywhere. He's about to get ownership, and then him and Beckham are about to get on the private jet and go fly around the world and recruit
My hot
top
True
take-
people, true, right? Yeah, he's
My
gonna
hot
be
take?
recruiting guys over.
or
My
help
hot-
develop the academy and get
That too.
that up to like
That'll
there's
be
so
massive.
much.
Look how he's developed the team as
Yeah.
is. You can tell a week in training, it's a night and day difference the way these
Yep.
guys look on the ball.
You know,
My hot take
they
about
can share that
Messi
knowledge.
is he'll play his 2.5 years, play a year at Old Boys, and then retire.
Maybe, but I don't know. I also thought he was gonna maybe go to Napoli to follow in Maradona's footsteps, because I couldn't believe that he was coming into Miami. So
I would love
you
3.5,
does-
but I will take 2.5 with open.
Yeah,
eyes.
Fuck
and
it.
I honestly think he's also ready to like. Yeah, look, a lot of people said he's coming into Miami to retire and be with his family, which he is. He gets a lot more time with his family here than he would playing somewhere in Europe, right? Or maybe even playing somewhere in Argentina. But I think he kind of I don't want to say addressed, but he kind of challenged that when he said, "No, I'm coming into this league. I'm going to give it 100%. I'm going to take it seriously. My mentality is always to win. My mentality is always to be
He's
the
a
best."
winner. He's a winning mentality.
And you've seen that, and saw that in the Atlanta game. He came out guns blazing, scored 2 goals, got an assist. He had a secondary assist. I don't know if the MLS is going to count that. League is going to count
Yeah,
that.
he had
But
the
he
hockey
made the
assist.
pass to Kramasi or Allen, who made the pass
It was
to
Kramasi.
Taylor for the goal. It was
Great
Kramasi,
pass,
right?
by the way. Great pass.
Great pass. Both were great passes. And I don't know, man. Although he does get to spend more time with his family now, I think he ultimately, like Gonzalo Higuain did, rejecting his last year of his contract, I think he ultimately wants to one day just be able to spend the rest of the time with his family here in South Florida, just
As
like
he
Gonzalo
should.
Higuain did. A lot of players did that. I think Matuidi. Dude, you guys want to hear something funny, Jay? I don't know if I ever told you this. Matuidi's like assistant, her daughter was my student.
Oh,
And
shit.
I'm always like showing off my Vice City stuff to my kids
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Inter Miami. I'm always showing them highlights and trying to get them like, into this whole thing. And she's like, my mom's boss, the guy who, and they're really close family friends or whatever. She's like, he plays for Inter Miami. Like, really? And I hear her with the French accent. I'm like, is it Matuidi? And she's like, yeah. She brought me like a signed picture of him or whatever.
Oh.
And I asked her, I'm like, what is he going to do? Is he going to go to another team? Is this? She's like, no, he just wants to live with his family here in Miami. And that's the overall sentiment you see of these guys coming here is they want to get an early start in life in Miami. And I don't
Yep,
blame them.
yep.
We all live here in South Florida for the same reasons. Beautiful weather, beautiful places to see, good food, a lot of culture. It's never a dull night.
No state tax.
No state,
No state tax.
No state tax.
Huge.
But I saw,
huge.
an article kind of about that, and like one of the major decisions was his family just loved it here in America so much, and a lot of these players coming from Europe, they hear about life in America and they want to experience that, and they want their family to experience that. So what I want to say to everybody, not just Inter Miami fans, but all citizens of South Florida, if you see Messi, if you see Antonella, if you see the children, be nice, be polite, wave,
and
don't
go about your
harass
day.
them, let them we want them as happy as they can be, because if the wife is happy, then Messi's going to be happy. He's going to stay here. And if if you're in a serious relationship, that's the case, right? So
Happy
make
wife,
sure
happy life.
the family's happy, and I think that will be a big determination on potentially.
Atlanta's about to lose on penalties. They just missed one.
Definitely. Well, sorry for Atlanta, but whatever. Better team wins. But I think that's a great way to end the podcast, Jay. You're right. Is just be cordial to the Messis, be cordial to all the soccer players that are gonna come in, and anybody you see. Most of these guys are like demigods to you, but they're just real people. They like to go home and play video games. They like to go home and go watch a movie with their family. They don't live, breathe, eat the sport at 100%. And I'm a huge fangirl. Whenever I run into a player, I'm always thinking of something clever to tell them to maybe stand out other than fans. But never disrespectful, never pushy, always cordial and grateful. So I think that's a great attitude to keep while this happens, because we're now going to become the New York Yankees of the Real Madrid of MLS, and there's going to be a lot of eyes on us, and our behavior is going to be under a microscope. So I wanted to thank everybody for listening today. Thank you everybody for being here. Big shout out to Jay for being here. Thank you so much, dude. Big shout out to Calypso for making it happen, getting together. Something happened in the game? What happened?
To Orlando.
To Orlando, yes.
Oh,
Fucking awesome. Yes. Great way to end this. Great way to end this. Any last words? Jay, Calypso. I got my last words. Fuck Orlando.
Yo, that's it. We're ending it. Ending it
Yeah.
straight right there. Have a
We're
nice
gonna-
night, man. Good luck. Have fun.